everyone, it's Symphony and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. If you're not new but you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And welcome back to this series, Morning Motivation. If you have not seen the previous videos of this morning motivation series, I will link them down below. And yeah, let's just get right into today's video. So today's quote, or this morning's quote, is very short but very, very powerful. So nothing will change unless you do. And I know that that sounds so simple, but when you really think about it, it's something that all of us need to hear, something that I definitely need to hear multiple times a day. Not even multiple times a week, multiple times a day. When I first read this quote, nothing will change unless you do, I thought about those commercials. Tell me down in the comment section below if you know what I'm talking about. I thought about those commercials. What were they, like the Everest commercials? The commercials where it's like the man in the camera and he's promoting this like college or the certification program where you can get like your certification to be like a CNA or an electrician. It's basically like for trade school, and they give you like a 1-800 number, and he's like, yeah, so you're sitting there on your couch, life is passing you by. I used to be like 10 years old and I just felt so convicted at 10 years old. But in actuality, like, school's over, like what else am I supposed to do? But like my homework's done. But it got me into the mindset so early that like, wow, if you want something to change, you really have to get off your butt. And I know we would think that that's such common sense, but let me get some of my tea. I know that we would think that that's such common sense, but how many times do we complain about something not changing that we have the power to change? Now, if you're complaining about something that you can't change, you just gotta let that go. Isn't there like a quote or a prayer about letting go of things that you can't change? But if there's something that you're complaining about that you can change, it's not gonna change unless you change. I was actually talking to my sister about this, and we were talking about like working out and stuff like that, and we were like, oh, like working out, and we were like, you know what, like things on our body aren't gonna move and shape shift unless we move like we're about to shape shift. You know what I mean? Like if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight or bulk, this is just not that like weight is like the end all be all, but this is just a good example. Like if you want to change something about yourself or about your surroundings, you really have to get off of your butt to do so. And again, seems so simple, yet have you ever, complained about the way that you look, whether it be, you want to get better at your makeup, or you don't like your hair, or you don't like the way that your hair is turning out, like, or you don't like your body shape or size, or, I mean, you can't change your height, but like, have you ever complained about something like that? Yet days go by and you haven't done anything to fix it. You get what I'm saying? I've actually thought about how many people aren't confident, and they're not confident because of things that they can change. They're not confident because they don't like the way that they look, or they're not confident because they want to be more intelligent, or they want to speak another language, or they're not confident because they want to be able to walk in heels, or you get what I'm saying? And on this Wine Wednesday, if you guys don't know what Wine Wednesday is here on the channel. We talk about a girl talk. I know morning motivation is not just for women, but Wine Wednesday we talk about a girl topic, and this topic is going to be on confidence. So tune in on Wednesday, Wednesday evening, if you want to hear about this. But so many people aren't confident, or they don't feel good about themselves for something that they can change. You know what I mean? And I think that so often the conversation surrounding confidence or feeling good or getting what you want out of life is kind of like, oh, well, you have to be happy with who you are right now, or you have to be happy with how things are right now, which is true, because you can't manifest anything different into your life unless you're already vibing on that. I know I'm getting real spiritual on y'all, but unless you're already vibing on that frequency of, having and being and, kind of like being that girl. Like if you're not already there mentally, you can't attract anything more into your life. However, we don't have to be, and I actually don't think it's a good idea to be so content with who we are right now that we're not changing. If you want that job, if you're sitting at home and you're like, man, like, think back to the quote, nothing can change unless you do. So if you're sitting at home and you're like, man, I really want that job, like I really want, it's not gonna come, I mean, it will come to you, but it's not gonna come to you without the effort. So apply. Or if you need a certain certification or license in order to get it, go for it. And don't say, oh, well, that's gonna be another 2 years. Okay, think about this. do you now, if going through that process is not your thing, then more than likely having the outcome isn't your thing either. But if you want that outcome, if you want that job, and you know you need a certain license or certification or degree, and you're like, oh well, that's going to take 2 or 4 years, do you want to take 2 or 4 years putting in the work to get what you want, or the next 2 or 4 years complaining? Because the next 2 to 4 years have to go by regardless. So are you going to spend 2 years complaining, or 2 years saying, oh, I'm working towards what I want, I'm working towards what I want? If you want that waistline, if you want those abs, are you going to say, oh, well, you know, I'm stuffing my face while I want this, that, and the third? Or are you going to say, let me do something about it? And we can say, oh, well, it'll take months or years. Those months are going to go by. So do you want those months to go by while seeing the changes and making you hungry more so to get, not literally hungry, but giving you even more so the desire and inspiration to go for what you want? Or let's say you're like, you know what? I don't know why I use this example, but let's say you're like, you know what? I want fuller lips. I don't like my lips. I mean, that's not my situation, but like, if you're like, you know what? I don't like my lips. Go get them fixed. Like, nothing's gonna change unless you change, unless you make those decisions and those moves to change your actual situation. Does that make sense? And it can be anything from looks to finances to opportunities to happiness. Your state of happiness comes from inside, and it's not going to change unless you change your environment, you change your mindset, you change your situation. And I know for the majority of this video, I talked about you putting in the effort to change something, but you also just have to completely change your mindset, because it says nothing will change unless you do. Not necessarily nothing will change unless your effort changes, but you change. So if you as a person change, then your effort's gonna change, your outlook is gonna change. And if you can't boss up your mindset and say, you know what, instead of sitting here on the couch being like, oh, I'm not this, I'm not that, you have to change and be like, you know what, I deserve this, I am that, I am this, I am that, I do deserve these things, I'm going to have these things. Matter of fact, I have these things right now, I can feel them, I can envision them. Ooh, rude notification. So until you change who you are, nothing around you is going to change. And that's just tea. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this morning's morning motivation. I hope that you guys tell me down below if you enjoyed the length of these videos. Anywhere between like 5 and 10 minutes. I feel like that's good to get you guys' morning started while you're, I'm sorry about these notifications, while you're brewing your coffee, you know, before you get your kids up in the morning, things like that. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button down below. You will see more of me, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.